Isla could hear the devil hunters and their specially trained familiars that were following her trail.
Why did they have to have humans?
She ducked through the broken passageway. She came to a stop suddenly. She whirled her arms around, seeking to regain her balance as she heard the rock she had disturbed falling below. She took a quick second to look at the massive cavern she found herself in. She failed to regain her balance and finally fell backward, grabbing onto the walls of the corridor she was in, panting from fear as she looked at the cavern.
A city of the dead.
As a dark elf, her eyesight quickly adjusted, allowing her to see over the cavern.
No, it's too small. This has to be a crypt. Could this be the one?
Her eyes fell on the large temple in the center that reached up to the ceiling. Around it, black sarcophaguses were set into the floor, information written into them.
"Come on! She's close!"
She heard the head devil hunter yell. Their voice filled the corridor behind her. Isla looked around and saw a set of stairs in the side of the cavern. She moved down them quickly, trying to not peer down all the way to the bottom of the stairs. She got to a broken section, jumping before she had time to think of what she was doing. She landed on the other side as the stairs started to crack underneath her.
"No!"
she yelled as the stairs let go. She tried to run forward, but of course she was too slow and she dropped to the ground. Isla looked at the rubble-strewn floor right beneath her feet. She had been so scared to look down she didn't realize she'd only been a few feet from the ground. She looked around to see whether anyone had noticed or heard her panicked cry. She coughed awkwardly.
Who would see you messing up in a crypt like this? We'll be on the bastards chasing me anyhow.
There was an explosion as the debris blocking the corridor she had squeezed through was blown out, raining down on the closest sarcophagi. She heard coughing and the screeches of familiars as they rushed ahead of their hunters. Some called them spirits, others called them familiars. They were contracted magical beasts. All of the races could contract them. It was known that the humans had an innate ability to contract familiars, and they could contract multiple familiars. Other races could only make one contract. Humans could even annul contracts and contract other familiars, releasing their previous familiars easily. These familiars were trackers. They didn't track by scent, but rather the mana that one gave off. It was impossible to hide from them, as they could track their opponent across entire cities, unless someone had a powerful artifact, or were strong enough to not use their mana, or could kill the familiars. The familiars let out excited cries as Isla was already running again. She ran for the main temple, remembering the oath that she had taken to not raise undead and use her abilities for good instead of evil.
What does it matter now?
Her anger burned in her chest. If it wasn't for the devil hunters, then she would have been left alone. She could have completed her trip in peace. She touched the pouch on the inside of her jacket, making sure the letter she had been given was still there as she ran into the temple's open arches. The building was simple, but the materials were of the finest quality. There were 3 tombs here, arranged in a triangle. The 2 rested beneath the one placed in the center of the temple. She had a grim look on her face as she ran to the tomb. The devil hunters weren't far behind. Taking a deep breath, she drew on her power. Black and purple mana with flashes of green moved around her as she started chanting in ancient Elvish. Her mana flowed out under the power of her words, creating a magical line that extended from under her feet to around the sarcophagus. Lines extended out from the main magical circle, creating other magical circles that grew taller into magical pillars. She used her senses on the sarcophagus in front of her. Even though they were dead, she felt a great power within the sarcophagus.
I, Aila Ranoris, call upon you to heed my words, my call to disturb your rest. Rise to aid me in my task. Rise once more, warrior, she yelled.
Her words carried as the familiars' yells could be heard within the cavern. They were closing with the temple.
The devil hunters aren't far behind,